Hello and welcome to Funny Mummies, the podcast for people that hate parenting podcasts. I'm Hatty, a comedian, and I'm blessed with two lively boys. Each show I'm joined by funny mummies, aunties, mates, because, let's be honest, we all need the help of our non-tired friends. So hold on to your pelvic floors, here comes the show.
Happy Mother's Day! Happy Mother's Day! Happy Mother's Day to you! Happy Mother's Day! Happy Mother's Day! Happy Mother's Day to you!
Hello, you're listening to Yes, the Other Woman show, and this week it's me, Hatty Ashdown, with my rendition, which is the Funny Mummies. Let's kick off with some Tina. Or not, because it's a bit delayed, and it's great. It's very apt for our show today, which is all about being older mummies. So let's hear some, women of a certain age. Enjoy.
Women of a certain age, they learn to rely and judge on his responses, having faith of mating game.
Hello! Well, that was Tina Turner, and I Don't Want to Lose You. I don't want to lose... Yep, I don't want to lose my youth, is what I was going for. Now, that voice you might be able to hear is...
Not one of your guests.
not one of my guests. Well, he kind of is an honorary mascot today, but it's not. I don't know how lucky he's going to be. The voice you can hear now is me, Hatty Ashdown, comedian, broadcaster, and this is The Other Woman show. And on my watch, it's called The Funny Mummy Show. So, but I've had to bring my little baby, my 8-month baby today. One of the guests, so I'll get to in a minute, is holding him. The answer to the question is, can you have it all? The answer is no, because unless you can afford an au pair or nanny, because I got let down with childcare, and that's just, so here he is. And it was at the beginning, it was always going to be a nice idea to be able to bring him along, but the reality is him destroying the place. Anyway, his dad might come and pick him up soon, so we'll see. That's the roulette and the fun of today's show. So before I get to what we're talking about today, let's find out who we've got. So she's actress and comedian, also fully qualified primary school teacher. And you used to teach improv as well, didn't you, for a while?
Yeah, drama schools.
Just checking I got my facts right.
That's right.
Was part of the comedy duo Aliens, Ate My Schnitzel, and numerous comedy characters. It's Lheila Oberman, everybody.
Hello, Hatty.
She's here. And I should say, and mother of one.
Yep.
At the age of 43. She had him. We'll get to why I mentioned that later. And secondly, it's... I was about to say her name straight away. That's not how you do it, Hattie. She's holding the baby now. She's a multi-award winner of awards. Recently won the New Comedian of the Year at the Piccadilly Comedy Club. And a BBC New Comedy Radio Award. Is that right?
No, that one, I don't know where that one's
Did I get that wrong?
I like
Okay,
that
just
one.
have it.
Yeah, I'll have that.
It's a bit like one of my... get to that in a minute. You may have seen her on QI and BBC Radio 4. She's mum of two. It's Cally Beaton.
Hello. I'm just, in case it sounds
standing up.
weird, I'm
Yeah.
standing up and juggling a baby. So I don't want
Sorry,
anyone to think
girls.
that it's like my diaphragmatic control is not what it should be. But
He's happy now, though.
He is happy, yeah.
He's blooming old,
I'm
isn't
happy
he?
to do this standing up. It's like a standing desk, only a standing radio
Oh,
show. Yeah,
They're meant to be better for you, aren't they?
they are. Yeah, good for your back.
But give you back, and we were just
When
discussing...
you're a woman of a certain
Yeah,
age.
sorry.
Hattie. Jeez. Do you
Yeah,
want to
thanks
explain
for
that?
Cally's not letting me live it down. Then I put her on a stool, and I said, "You're right in that stool, woman of a certain age."
I nearly walked out, dear
She
listener.
didn't like it, and
She nearly hobbled out.
I did.
and she's, you know,
And who's standing up using their
I
pelvic
know.
their core to hold your
I
baby?
couldn't sit on a stool, and so that's why I said that. And they're like, no, yeah, but she's got a fantastic core. To me, which brings us on to our topic today. Women of a certain age, it's over 30, it feels like, really. I think that's when I started feeling old. No, I'm joking. So today we are kind of not debating, but we've got two sides in a way of the thing of life, of having children, of having them young or a little bit older? Because Cally, you were 28 when you had your first one.
Yeah, 27 when I got pregnant.
27, sorry.
But then it takes 9 months, doesn't it?
It does.
It was
That's
weird.
The thing.
Yeah.
Goes on a bit, doesn't
It did go on.
Yeah.
So yeah, started pregnant 20. Next thing I knew, I was 28 when I had the baby.
Yeah,
So
you see.
beat that.
I don't think about that. And then 31, we had the second one.
Yeah.
Or was you 30 when you was
I was
pregnant?
30 when I was pregnant. The same thing happened again, and by then I was ready for it. Yeah, by then I could see what was about to happen.
You did know.
Yeah.
And then so we've got the other side of the coin, which is myself and Lheila. I had my children, my first one in my late 30s, and then little Buster busted out in my 40. In my 40.
In your 40. Did that take 9 months?
It did.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing.
And then so Lheila had hers when she was 43.
Although I was actually pregnant at 42.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it still
There is
works
a theme.
like that.
There's a theme.
Yeah, there's a theme.
Even now. Yeah.
But for me, I am a product of an older mum, particularly in those days. My mum had me at 42.
Wow.
Oh,
Now
no.
that.
In those days, that was worthy of an article in a tabloid.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is, there's no pictures of my mum pregnant with me because they just didn't take pictures either.
They didn't have
did.
pictures in
Yeah.
those days.
And they didn't
Yeah.
really wear pregnancy type clothes, clingy things.
They had to make them out of parachutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got one picture and she goes, "Oh, I'm pregnant with you then." I'm like, "Really?" Can't tell in her face or
No, it's
anything.
about hiding it, wasn't it? It was.
So before I launch into did your parents have you what was acceptable normal age?
Yeah, my
whatever it
mum
is?
was 21
Wow.
when she had me.
See that so young.
23, my brother. But that was really common, wasn't it? You lived
Yeah.
with your parents.
Yeah.
Got married. Had children. I haven't kind of done it that well. I haven't got married yet, but and then you just moved into the new house, and then you had the
Yeah.
baby. You know, just arrived.
I think my mum had massive gaps, so she did start at
Steady.
she. Oh gosh. Actually, I don't know. I think she was considered quite late for those days. I think she was about 23, 24, which was considered a little bit
Pushing it. Yeah.
Yeah, because she was living at home with her parents for a while, thinking she was going to be a spinster and all like that. But Cally, yourself, sorry,
So
parents.
my mum was, my brother's older. So my mum was 27 when she had my brother, 29 when she had me. My dad's younger, so my dad was 22 and 24. Yeah, see what she did there? See, my dad was and is. If I might dig out a picture of my dad holding me. Not that I know this is an auditory medium, but you could then go,
We
oh
could
my
tweet it."
goodness, we could tweet it. Yeah. So my dad was a very young, handsome dad.
Wow. So she went for the virile.
She went for the younger, which in those days, imagine the
Yeah.
scandal. Yeah.
I had all the, my mum, she'd had 3 girls. So I think maybe, Lheila, you know all this from my old set that I used to do. Stop me. Don't stop me because they might not have heard it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard this, Hatty. But yeah, so I'm one of 4 girls, and my mum just had weird sort of gaps between each of us. There's no sort of consistency. I think it's just whenever it was a bit cold, I had another child,
Yeah.
Um,
Or when they came back from the war.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that must be my parents. Because I'm a woman of a certain age.
oh no, Cally.
Yeah, but there were gas strikes. There were strikes and things, weren't
Yeah.
There was no gas, though, not when I was a girl.
So I had, so I experienced all that, even though really 42 isn't old, of course, but my mum had that thing, God bless her, where she had a bubble perm from the age of 0, I think. It was just like a do that fitted for her in her 20s, which would have been, the 50s or whatever. So then it just stuck. So I think that, because I look back and I think she didn't look old. You're right, do you want me to take him?
I'll keep jigging for a
But
bit.
I did experience that thing of people coming home to me and going, "Is that your nan?" I experienced all that. He's trying to turn round to you.
But then when he turns around, he eats the microphone.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why he loves the wires.
Oh, he likes his mum. That's see.
So he is yes, but so. Sadly, I was going to say, yeah, you can have kids older and it's fine. And my mum, I lost my mum, so I'm laughing about it. But that was it.
That's ruined everyone's afternoon.
it's
Why are you
ruined-
bringing that up?
I know, but because
What's wrong with you?
But she did quite well, 82. So we got that to look forward to.
That's
Older mums.
nice.
But she, not she had that blooming cancer. But before that came, she'd had all the health checks that said you got the heart of a 25-year-old, all that kind of thing. So it's got nothing to do with it. But she, if I could ask her, I think she always used to say that having me kept her young. I don't know if she was just saying that to be nice.
I think it does though when you've got, because mine have left home now, and I've noticed that all those young people's references that I understood, I'm like, who's going to tell me those young people's things now?
Yeah.
Unless I do what my mum did and get a much younger man.
Oh, are you thinking about doing that?
Not just thinking about it.
Oh.
I'm out there auditioning.
Good for you. Will, who's on
Will's
the
looking a bit nervous.
Sound man is twiddling his knobs with,
who I should know. I should have noted that Will said he'd never heard of the Tina Turner song "I Don't Want to Lose You." I mean, I don't know how that's passed him by.
Because young people have different references. They don't cross over.
Oh, someone said to me the other day, so how are you going to cope with the teenage years, going on about when they really hit top, whack, crazy.
Hormones.
But I realised that around that time I'd be full peak menopause into dementia. So I won't really know or care what he's getting up to at that point. I think that could be a positive thing about being an older mum.
Everyone will be doolally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole
That's good.
house. Yeah.
So, Lheila, I kind of know the answer to this, but for the was it a conscious choice to have a child later? Did you always think you would have a child, or?
It's always something I wanted. I mean, in my 20s, when my friends were going, "Oh, I don't fancy it," I was. Yeah, I mean, the day I had my first period, I was jumping up and down. I could have a baby. I could have it. Seriously, I was like, just never had a phase where I didn't want a baby.
Wow.
And I sort of spent years and years waiting for the right man, and he didn't turn up. So the wrong man came up, and I was like, I'm 42.
He'll do.
Yeah, so.
But that's what you've got to do. It's what you got to do. You've got to do what you've got to do. And thankfully for it, we've got lovely Ziggy.
We've got beautiful Ziggy.
Good name.
So, thank
Ziggy
you.
and Buster.
I know.
Very with it names.
We are so with it. What are your children called?
Reginald. No, they're called Jake and Ella.
Oh. And so they're both left home.
Yeah.
So you see, this is you're like my sister. So my sister's about your age, and she's living that. So they're like sod waiting to retire. They're like, let's live the dream now. They're going. Oh, they've got a camper van, and they're going, but like a cool one,
Yeah.
And they're going away weekends and to festivals and doing it all now.
Yeah.
And I am a little bit like,
Second youth.
I won't be able to do that. But then sorry, baby. But then the flip side's. Do you feel you've missed anything? Is what I guess.
Well, no, because I used to travel. I was working at MTV when I had Jake, and I used to travel. I was traveling around the world, and he just used to come with. So, like, he was just like a very well-travelled, cool little baby. But then we have a second one. Suddenly, as we were saying before we went on air, then you're a family.
Yes.
And then it's a bit harder, and one of them's at school, and you can't just chuck them you can't just go, right, we're off to here today, kids, because like commitments start. So it did feel a bit different as they got older, but. No, I did. I'd packed in a fair bit before I was 27.
Yeah.
And indeed, first child might have arrived because of, hedonistic activities at the age of 27. So, I that's not going to be a nice story for his wedding day, but I'll save that for another time. So, yeah, I don't feel I didn't have quite a lot of fun in the time leading up to it or during.
I think you've got the perfect age, really. I need someone who's 21 to come on, really, as well.
I'll go. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go, and I'm going to find any young woman with a baby and send them in. Is that all right?
As well, so we've got all parameters.
But they'll be able to sit on the stool as well if I find one of them.
As an old,
you're never going to let me live that down.
as an older mum, I do have people come to me going, "Oh, so you waited till you're older because of your career?" And I go, "Oh, I forgot to do that."
Yeah.
Because I think the idea is, an older mum, she's had her career, she's built up money in the bank, she owns her own home, her car. I didn't get round to any of that either.
No, me neither.
Is anyone that organised? I always think, having had one not
Is it a
quite
myth?
planned.
Is it a myth?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I definitely am more I've got more of those things now I'm my age than I had when I got pregnant, but I did them while I was having kids. So
Okay,
I think the thought that it's either or that a woman would sort of go, "Oh, I've done it now, I'll now I'll have a kid. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, because we don't give up on who we are when we have a kid, do we?
Well,
Keep going.
And it's also that thing that you spend your years, your 20s, 30s, whatever, desperately trying to not get pregnant. And then you get the
I
other
know.
side of the coin,
you
and
can't.
you either can't or you just got absolutely no idea. I mean, I was so fertile that I can't believe it, you know. And
Really?
I was, I made not a pact, but a decision with my gentleman friend, and literally 2 weeks later,
wow.
that was that. So, but it could have been. It could have been 10 years. It might never have happened. You just don't know if you're fertile or not.
I think, fantastic these days that I before I met my husband, he's going to think, oh, great, I was just a sperm donor. But I was, I had some inheritance. I was going to freeze my eggs and I was going to look into that.
Good times.
I know.
In inheritance and frozen eggs.
Oh, I've got a story. Yeah, I went to the doctor when I was 41 saying, nothing's I'm not with anyone. I really want children. Can I freeze my eggs? And she laughed when the quality's not good enough anymore.
She did.
She did, in a kind of sweet way, I suppose.
Well, she was
But-
wrong because the quality was good enough to have a baby.
Well, it
what did
was.
she know?
She hadn't looked at my eggs
She
closely
didn't
enough.
know.
No.
Know of
But
what she spoke.
yeah, she said there was no point freezing eggs at 41, and I should have done it 10 years
That's rubbish.
previously.
But, my friend had IVF over the age of 41, but privately, I think it's the NHS are just like,
Right.
"Rah."
Yeah.
We was keeping the baby happy. Phew.
There's nothing the young people can't do nowadays.
I know. Keep a baby happy. in
Yeah,
every
it's
sphere.
brilliant.
Gosh, shall we have a... No, I feel like I want to save the music for having a meltdown. He's all right at the moment. But let's have one. So we've got... She's not an older mum, but this is a weird choice. I was like, Joni Mitchell, she had a child, didn't she? And then she had it
Yeah,
adopted. She couldn't
yeah,
handle it.
yeah.
Really? Oh, I don't know.
She
that
had other
story.
things.
Secret little story.
She had other
for you.
things to do.
Yeah.
She was an artist.
Yeah,
Got
but
time
she
for
reacquainted
babies.
with the baby when, grown up, and then she became a really close grandparent.
Yeah, we've all done that, haven't we? Fly in when the hard work's done.
I was like,
yeah.
that is a good idea.
Yeah.
So let's have some California from Joni Mitchell. You'll listen to The Other Woman Show with the Funny Mummies on Soho Radio.
Sitting in a park in Paris, France, reading the news and it sure looks bad. They won't give peace a chance. That was just a dream some of us had. Still a lot of lands to see, but I wouldn't want to stay here. It's too old and cold and settled in its ways here. All the California.
Oh, I've not got my cans on, and I do like to hear the sound of my own voice in my head. It helps, though, with projection, apparently. Oh, no, you were being quiet. Welcome back to the chaos that is the Funny Mummies show for the other women. I'm Hatty Ashdown, we've got Cally Beaton, and we've got Lheila Oberman, and we've got Buster Boo in the room. He's trying to keep him quiet. He's doing all right, bless him.
He just doesn't like you. He likes us.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's quite ratty with you. He's like, Mum again. Oh.
So for regular listeners of my show, they'll know we have a little item called Sorted. So it can be something as small as remembering to take your plastic bag to the shops, or something as big as writing a joke on a show or something. I don't know. So anyone want to go chirp up first?
Well, I've got a big one and a small one.
Go on then.
So I'll
You can
start.
get two,
I
two,
know. I know.
I mean, we've all got them, love.
I know. I'll start with my big one because it's my favourite. So my big one is my will. I finally did, because I turned 50 at the weekend, and I decided it was only seemly for a woman of a certain age to have a will. And someone said to me that it might be that my kid's dad might end up getting everything, because I was never married, and it wouldn't be clear who the next of kin were if my kids were still under 21.
Right.
The thought that he might get it, well, I was like, I'm getting this locked and
Oh,
loaded.
so that's it, because I said to you off air, I was like, oh, that's really weird, because last month Rev Taylor Glenn said that she'd sorted her will out.
Such a relief.
But she did it because of worrying about what's happened if something happened to her with her child, who would get the child.
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
got that worry, obviously.
No, my ones. But I did also, while I was doing it, I also wrote out how my funeral could go. I'm so
Can you do
control. You
that
can. So
then?
it's a letter of wishes. So
Right.
and I got really into it. I was like playlist. It was like I was planning like a really good party.
Really good
And then I had to
festival.
put at the end. I showed it to a girlfriend. She said, do you not think your kids might want an opinion? So then at the bottom I said, but you can ignore all or any of this and do whatever you want. But if you do not want to have to worry about it, here's an option.
Well, exactly.
So I'm so controlling. I'm like, this is what needs to happen. So yeah, it was all my songs, all my, I was like, oh, it's going to be so moving. My eulogy is going to be amazing. I didn't write the eulogy. I mean, I was a hop and a skip of writing the eulogy.
Oh, Baba. Right, bring him back. Oh, gosh.
I think he just bopped his
bopped
head
his
on
head
the
on the
can.
piano.
Sorry.
Babies and cans don't mix. Well, I've been doing a bit of. I say I've been doing a bit. I literally have been doing a bit of. I've been inspired by the Marie Kondo
Oh, yeah.
series on Netflix. I've got a lot of things to say about that series. It's
Yeah.
not brilliant. Have you watched it, Lheila?
I've watched a couple of them. Yeah.
I want to go in and redirect the programme. It's a bit badly done, the programme. Like, they don't really... I feel like she goes in and she just kind of blesses the house.
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
says, oh, this is all great.
Yeah.
And then she sort of says, I'm going to help you. But then she buggers off.
She totally leaves them to it.
But
She
I
doesn't
wanna-
actually do any of the work at all, does she?
Well, it's not so much that, but I feel like she's not even really showing them what to do. They just seem to come back in a week and they've rolled up all the jumpers in a
Yeah.
nice sausage and put them in a jar. But
And have they actually thanked every item before they put them in the brown cardboard box? Because I suspect you do it with one or two items, you thank them, and then you feel like a twat,
Yeah,
and
you
then
get-
you don't actually do it after the first two jumpers.
So those that haven't watched it, you're meant to thank an old ratty T-shirt that
That's
might have been
right.
good to you. And
Yeah.
if you're going to get rid of it, but if it sparks joy,
That's
keep
it. If
it.
it's
Do you know at a certain
joy.
point what sparks joy anymore? Really.
well,
I mean, what that's legal anyway. So
well, I'm
She's-
talking about clothes.
Well, there is
still.
something
There
legal
is.
that sparks joy. I vaguely remember.
Do you?
Yeah, but really vaguely.
I think I was saying to you that my daughter was a good declutterer before she went to uni because she would sell all my old clothes on Depop and then she'd give me a percentage of them. But she was incentivized because she was making money. So it actually meant that the clothes were getting moved on. And now she's gone, I'm a bit like, oh. But you know those bags that arrive saying we're doing charity collection on
yeah,
a Tuesday?
yeah.
I don't trust those.
When every time one, yeah, but I don't mind as long as it's gone. So it said Tuesday. I was like, put everything in. I just about put the cat in there. I was like, that's it. Tuesday's the
Oh
day.
yeah, I look on the thing. It just says clothes, and I'm like, oh, that old clock. That's all right to go
Oh,
in there,
yeah.
innit? That's bric-a-brac.
Absolutely.
that old clock.
A biryani from last Wednesday went in there. It was great.
What, with the jumpers?
Yeah, with the jumpers.
But did you thank the biryani
Yeah,
before you?
and the biryani had sparked joy, but it had reached its sell-by days.
Why don't you
With
trust?
no
why don't
joy
you
left
trust
in
them,
it.
Yeah,
Lheila?
what do you think they're going to do with them?
I don't
they're
know.
gonna
I think
do?
it's strange people with strange motives that
But
are going to
good
do
luck-
weird
good
things with
luck
my
to them.
clothes.
Yeah,
Good
'cause
luck.
they've got that organised. That they've made up some bags.
Do you think they're going to make an effigy of someone?
Yeah, there could be some voodoo thing going on with my
Do you think?
clothes. Yeah, I just think there's something. I don't know. I give mine to Bernardo's and I have a little gift card, and you give the clothes over, and then you get an
Oh, that's
email
nice.
within a few minutes
You're
saying
good.
thank you so much. And actually, they
That's
email
nice,
you.
the email.
They email
after.
you every few weeks, and they tell you how much money they've made from your clothes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have time for that. Aren't they supposed to be doing good deeds on email all the time? It's
Yeah.
not all about
Must admit,
social media.
I'm more interested in your Bebop, whether it's
Yeah,
called.
that was
Although
good,
other
yeah.
social,
Yeah.
selling
Well,
sites
it's not
are
BBC,
available.
so we can say what we like.
Exactly.
They might start sponsoring my shows.
They're like that, and then maybe they'll come and sort my clothes out for me because it's a
Yeah.
mess.
Sorry, Bubba. I think actually he's getting tired.
He does seem a bit rubby-eyed.
What can I? What can we? Might have to put another song on just so we can. We've all sorted. So as I say, I sorted one drawer.
That's a lot when you've got two tiny
Yes.
children.
And I just
Yeah.
thought rather than because the thing is I keep going. I haven't got time for it to do a big old sort out, and I thought just do a little thing a day, and it's just made me discover all the jumpers I had that I put away not washed. Basically, so I get these jumpers. I go, oh, I forgot about that, and it's just got.
Maybe you had so much joy
Baby.
in those
I had
jumpers.
so much joy in those jumpers. I didn't want to wash it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. So I chose this one because I don't even really like the song very much, but she's another older mum. It's Gwen Stefani and The Sweet Escape. You're listening to the Funny Mummies on the Other Woman Show. apologise to any of my usual listeners. They're like, what's she doing? Let's make sure that doesn't go on to the next track. Playing Gwen Stefani. It was just, I was like Googling earlier. I was trying to find older mums, and that's what I could find.
I thought it was cheering.
It was cheery. It was a cheery one.
After your story of death earlier, I thought it was nice.
Yeah, we needed something a bit
Yeah,
more
we needed a
upbeat,
bit of
didn't
a
we, really?
a boost.
We've got Griefcast now, which I was a guest on. It's all about, bringing humour in death.
Yeah.
It's a part of living.
Or in this case, bringing death into humour.
Yes.
So that was nice. Unexpected, wasn't it? Little gift.
It's a little gift for you all. Something to look forward to. So yes, that was Gwen Stefani, and we're talking today about. I'm joined by that voice you could hear was Cally Beaton and Lheila Oberman. I'm Hatty Ashdown, and Mrs. of Funny Mummies, and we're talking about being an older mum. Myself, and Lheila had our babies later. What's considered later? I guess over 35. They sort of, that's when they say your eggs supposedly reduce.
Yeah.
I think from 35, I remember going to the doctors and they would say, they'd call you a geriatric mum.
They still use that term
They
occasionally.
do. I think biologically you still are. Obviously, in terms of fashion, we're very young.
Yes.
But doctors don't care.
When I had my first appointment at the hospital to see a nurse, what they called midwives or whatever, and she said, we're going to talk about what sort of birth he wants. And I said, right, well, I'm quite earth mothery in my heart, so I'd quite like the lavender wards.
In my head, I want the drugs.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, what are you going to say?
No. I was going, I'd like the lavender ward because there's big posters all over the walls in Whips Cross Hospital. So the lavender ward, and everyone's really lovely and they massage your toes and play nice music and give you brownies. Well, that was the impression.
Yeah.
And I said, I'd like the lavender ward and I'd like one of those water bath things, water birth even.
That's the one.
And she laughed. She laughed.
She didn't.
And she went, what, 43? She did. She laughed and said, no, you can't have the lavender ward. You can't have a water birth.
No.
You can't have this. You can't have that. You'll have to be in the main ward with 200 wires on you at all times, strapped down, basically, drugged up. That's how it all started. It was like, nah, not at your age. And I knew from there it was going to be possibly
a different experience.
Different experience, yeah.
But that is rubbish because my hospital were the opposite to that. When I had Buster, which obviously I was in my 40s, and I was going, are you sure, I'm going to,
You wanted more intervention.
Yeah.
You wanted,
there's
like, not enough people in this room.
They were like, there's no reason why you can't leave
Mine
him
was the
out
opposite, yeah.
naturally in the pool and all that, because I wanted all the pool as well. And I was like, really? But actually in the end we didn't get it, did we, Buster? But it was quicker the second time, so that's good.
I'm just busy chatting to your baby.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you are. You're doing a great job, Cally.
I am. Though I say so myself. I had one at home.
Ooh.
Get me with my fancy ways, and then one I tried
in them days as well.
I know, it was amazing. It's just and they were like the bombs coming over London, and it was dangerous. But I just cracked on with it, wet towels and
call the midwife on the bike.
Exactly. So that was lovely. And then the second one I tried to have in a natural birth centre, but it didn't go so well, that birth. So I got blue lighted over to a hospital, and then Ella arrived. So she had some heart things going on, but she's fine now.
Yes, but that's the thing. Yeah, I was trying to think. Actually, both my experiences, they treated me not too bad. But yes,
okay.
But my friend had similar to you.
Yeah,
and just kept saying she felt like in the interview, I was going to say, in the first midwife appointment, she just kept saying geriatric. It was like she felt like she just kept saying that because you're a geriatric mum,
Yeah.
They've got to change that term, haven't they?
They've got to change that term. It's a crazy term,
but as we know, statistically, more people are having babies later.
Yep.
It is a good thing, I think.
I think there's no right or wrong. So people, I don't feel that doing it. I just think you should do what you want to do. And everyone who's very opinionated about, well, don't do it that way and do it that time, and here's how I did it, it's sort of irrelevant, isn't it? Because we did it, we just muddled by, and everyone else will. And it's really hard to decide that what we did is right or wrong, really. I think it's all fairly haphazard, and no one knows what they're doing. We're all going to get found out any minute, and those are the only constants, aren't they?
Yeah, I vaguely chose it that way. I think in I used to, different to you, Lheila. was never sure if I wanted children, but I think deep down I did. But I always used to say to Mum, "Oh, I'm just going to adopt a child from abroad or something."
You could have had Joni Mitchell's child,
yeah,
couldn't
I could
you?
have had Joni
Yeah.
Mitchell's. I'd love that.
Yeah, that's a
Especially
good.
if she had her voice. Oh my gosh! The baby has just nearly pulled the speaker down on his head. Is he all right?
He's actually just in shock.
How were those reactions? You must admit, I was over there like
Let's see if we can try and feed him at the same time. I've got a spoon somewhere.
Callie,
and
we're going to
some
have a little
fruit.
chat, I think,
Yeah.
while Hattie's
Yeah.
making sure her child doesn't get squashed by large
What
equipment.
was I talking about? See, this is, you can't do it.
We
You
wa-
can't have it all. You
we
can't.
wanted to tell Hattie about the
yes.
perimenopause.
Oh,
didn't
we do
Yeah.
we were
need to
saying,
tell
yes.
Hattie about the. We mentioned the perimenopause, and Hattie went, "The what?"
Yeah.
And that is our point.
What is that? I feel
It's
bad
not
now
like
that I don't
peri
know.
chicken.
No.
It's not
No.
tasty like that.
No, it's spicy.
Is it like
It's-
a
There's
little
heat.
phantom
There's heat to it.
menopause?
Nothing
No,
phantom
nothing
about it.
Nothing. Okay, the
It's right real.
perimenopause, is up to 10 years before you enter the menopause, and your hormones are changing,
Right.
and you get symptoms that
You go full mentalist 10
Yeah,
years before you
basically.
think you will.
yeah.
So it's not actually.
Well, I found it worse than the real thing. I went full hot flush, up and down, depressed, anxious. Honestly, it was a nightmare.
There's a ton of
God.
symptoms that people don't know about, which hit in your 40s.
can
And,
hit from your age. In fact,
Definitely.
you might be doing well for it
No.
not to have hit.
I think all my sisters seem to have had their menopause really late.
Okay.
Whenever
Check
they-
if they had
I don't know, they didn't say-
perimenopause.
I bet they did because a lot of them felt like they were saying for about 10 years they would keep going, "Oh, I think I got the menopause." Okay, when
Yeah.
are you going to flip and have it?
Yeah, that's the peri. They
Yeah.
were
Having the
perrying.
They were peri.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So you got that to look. You can have that one on us if
I
you
wonder
like.
whether, see, this is where I should have somebody who does all facts for me. Whether having children later in life affects the menopause at all, whether it...
I think it basically you follow your mother. I think that's about the only sort of constant. I know the average age for a woman, I don't know why I know this, in the UK to go into menopause, weird number, is for 51. Okay.
it? Okay.
And so for up to 10 years, although some poor cows say that they can get sort
swear
of
if you want.
15, 20 years of symptoms where the peri leaks into the menopause, if you excuse the term. So it can go. I've had 2 hot flushes in total.
How do you
Both on the
know
same
they
day.
were- what's
Right,
the
shall I tell you?
difference?
Shall I tell you? Okay.
Oh, you
so I'm
know.
sitting watching
You
telly.
know.
I'm sitting watching telly, and suddenly this heat, like I've just had the hottest curry in the world, sort of built up my chest, went up and up to my neck, went up to my face, and these beads of sweat broke out on my head. And I thought, oh my God, the radiators have all come on. And it was the summer. And I thought, what the hell's going on? And I went over and I went like that. And the radiators were cold. And I realised, and it went about a minute later, less than a minute. And then I got another one 3 hours later, and I thought, well, that's me, that's my life gone. And that
you?
was
You
about,
thought-
well, that was about 5 months ago, and I've had nothing since. So you start to get, and periods of
You say
starve.
life gone. Isn't that... Are you not looking forward to menopause? No periods, I am.
No,
Are you like...
I know, like is too strong a
Yeah,
word.
but I know, you feel...
I'm
yes.
very attached to my fertility.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know what sort of
Yeah.
person I am, you know. So
Makes you feel like a woman.
it does. So yeah, I'm a bit weird. I know lots of people are waiting for them to
But
finish,
it's a
but
big
I
thing
like
to say goodbye
yeah.
to that. To
It's like knowing you can't have another kid. It's like if there's a really rubbish party that your mate's having, you don't want to go, but you want to be invited so you can say, I'm not coming. And if they don't invite
That's
you,
very
like
good,
that
Callie. Yeah.
metaphor.
that's what it's like. Yeah.
Oh, remember that.
Remember that. Yeah.
For the podcast description bit, I might put it in there.
That's
God,
a
we've
good-
covered like being
yeah.
older mums, menopause. We're
I
doing it
know.
all.
And we've completely
And
raised a
and
baby.
we're looking after a baby.
He was 8 months
Normally-
old. He's 4 now. He started school since we've been in here.
Normally, we
So
barely manage one topic.
And there's
Yeah.
been a near-death experience.
yeah.
yeah.
The baby. Sorry about that. No, sorry, that's a bit harsh, but that's a huge piece of equipment.
I know.
I mean, we
and
joke, we're laughing,
poor
but that could have
Buster
been.
has had much more
yeah.
accident. I've talked about this every show actually, but just in
Second
case you're not.
children, they just no one's got the time, have they? No one minds about you, Buster.
The other day, bless him, he was going around in his walker. Like, you know, if for those that don't know, the walker things are like, they're like a little dodgem.
It's what you send him into the shops, isn't it? Yeah. When you run out of milk.
Or
Yeah.
fags.
Yeah.
He loves it. He's so fast on it. And I, you know, that moment you just hear a noise and cry, and I was like, oh no.
That's not mine, is it? So, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was in the kitchen for a second, as they say. I was in there for a second. I turned around, and the clothes error had fallen on him, and his sort of head was in the middle. If it had gone another way, it'd have lost an eye, definitely.
You know, the problem, the thing, the
I need a tumble
rookie
dryer.
error, you just need to stop doing your washing.
I
That's
don't-
where you
Yeah.
went wrong.
Yeah.
What were you doing airing
Why
things
am I
with a
even
baby?
trying to keep up with things?
I didn't put a wash on for 3 years. No one was hurting themselves on the airer. It was fine.
But you don't mind me saying you spent a lot of your parenting alone. Well,
Yes.
both of you are
Well,
Yeah.
single
both of us.
parents.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
hold my blooming hands up to you.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. Mind you, you are a single parent right now, aren't you?
I am. I'm feeling
Where is
Ah,
he?
No,
This mythical-
now it's interesting you say that.
Yeah.
Because I do sometimes get a bit when friends of mine who are not single parents and they go, oh, but I feel like a single parent because my husband doesn't get back till 7:30
Yeah.
or 9 o'clock or even 11 o'clock. It's like, yes, but someone's going to come home.
Yes,
And when
someone.
that is very
Yes.
different being a single parent. And also what they don't realise is that they don't appreciate is the little texture in the day, the moral supports. How's it going? If no one ever texts, how's it going? And no one comes home either. Ooh, it can be a bit tricky at times, can't it?
Yeah.
Particularly in those very early days.
So, Lheila, what would you say to anybody who maybe was a bit older and was thinking, well, I haven't met the one, and I might just pop off to a clinic and get myself some sperm.
Well,
What would you say? You know, doing it on your own is
okay, mine's... I need to explain a little bit more. So I did go through the whole in my head about maybe going to a clinic. And in fact, when I looked at the pregnancy strip, I put it down on the table on top of a "So You Want to Foster Children" leaflet, which was a bit of a moment.
right.
So I was going to say I do know the father. That doesn't come out right. I love my child. So my little boy has a brilliant relationship with his daddy,
That's good.
and they see each other very regularly.
Yeah.
And what I was looking for, I suppose, is to have that side of things.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a sperm bank and you've got, and you're happy with that, I'm the least judgmental person
Yeah.
since having the
Yeah.
child. But for me, I wasn't sure if I could justify in my head the idea of not having anyone. It's so personal.
Right.
It's so personal.
But I just mean anyone who's thinking of doing it on their own because it's blooming tough.
Yeah.
But there's obviously pros to it. To doing it on your own, you've got nobody to
To argue with.
argue with.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
And nobody to get bored with.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's
to
good.
compromise with.
No one to argue with.
Yeah.
I hear that having a rubbish husband is much worse than having no husband. So, can't complain.
Yeah, I've got a friend. They won't be listening. So I think, but I've got a friend whose sister. I think they're related. She finds him so useless that now she's like sends him off to his mum's in the week and says, "Just come home at weekends."
Wow, you see, that's when you're delegating your husband to make your life easier. I think what you don't want is an extra kid, do you, in the form of a
No.
husband?
No.
And that I do have friends who have the extra kid
Ugh.
husband. And, oh, no, things are busy enough, aren't they, without having to deal with that.
Well, we've all got boys, so we just need to bring up our boys correctly to be good dads.
Yeah, that's
what it's
true.
all about, because I am lucky. My husband he's very good. He has his moments where, I think the mental load is not in his head.
That's the bit I used to notice. I was always the sole breadwinner even before I split up with my kid's dad, and then obviously was once I had split up. And I used to think, well, that's all right. I can do that. I can work. I can also be the primary carer. But I'd really like not to have to do all the admin of
Yes.
and he'd always be like, he won't be listening. He'd always be like, well, I don't know what's going on. No one's told me about having to make a Tudor crown out of egg boxes. And I was like, well, how do you think I know? Like, I didn't have a team of people come round and say, by the way, because, you just got your ear to the ground.
Yeah.
And he'd always be like, well, no one told me there was an eggmobile race. And I'd be like, well, how do I know? Because I'm a parent in the same school with the same channel of communication. So, yeah, it was all that stuff, and remembering that they've got to have this, that or the other, or they've grown out of their pants or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I, as you know, I run Screaming with Laughter, lunchtime comedy club, where parents can bring their babies, and we hardly have any dads. I mean, I think yesterday we had a show. We had 2 dads there. Depending on what area, it's quite funny. Like Balham, we get more dads, and then we get where they're splitting the paternity. So it's getting a bit better, but there's still a long way to go. We've got about 10 minutes, so I'm going to have to round up things. I can't believe it. We didn't even get to talk about really the benefits of. Well, I'll just briefly say, we'll try and sum up in a few words, Lheila. I guess this is one for me and Lheila, really, just being an older parent. And I feel like I don't bring any resentment. Like, when I feel a bit, because my husband is 10 years younger than me, and sometimes I feel...
Oh, well done,
yeah,
you.
toy boy.
Oh.
But I feel like sometimes he thinks, I could be out with, his other friends that are off getting off
Like
their
he's
heads.
off now, isn't he? He's out now off his head.
Off his head.
Yeah. Where is he now?
And it's meant to be picking him up.
Exactly.
And
I can't see him.
He's just scoring in Soho somewhere,
Yeah.
isn't he?
But one of those mornings when I get up at 4 a.m. or something and I'm up with the baby, and I take a moment and I go, I've had my party days. It's fine. They'll come back again, won't they? They'll come back again.
They will come back again.
In the 60s.
You're trying to persuade
Yeah.
yourself. No, I don't have. I completely agree. I
You
don't
know what
have
I
that
mean.
resentment. I'd like to say I've travelled the world. I haven't travelled the world. I've been to a couple of countries. I've done some-
Metaphorically, you
yes,
have.
I have.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But yes, I've been around, and and I've seen a few things.
They
Been
say older
abroad.
mums bring more
I've done-
patience. I don't know about that.
I
though.
reckon the patience is true. I think,
you?
yeah. I mean, God knows, if I had one when I was 20, maybe I would still have been patient. But I feel like
I think I've just learnt then that I'm just not patient. I thought I was.
Well, kid will test your patience.
Do you two want to big up anything? Anything you want to give a shout out of your own or someone else's?
I'd like to give a shout out to Craig, the single daddy, who's currently looking after
Yeah!
my son, so that I can come into Soho and feel like a real performing
real
person.
woman.
Because I haven't done any performing since I was pregnant. So,
Round of
so
applause.
there.
Thank you. We
So
feel
this
very
is-
honoured
That
on
is,
the Other Woman show.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've done the whole sort of single mummy going, in a few years I can be funny again and get out
Well,
the
you
house.
are
so
funny and beautiful.
Oh,
I was
yes.
saying how beautiful
Oh.
your skin was, and
Oh,
I'm going
you
to
were.
say it again. I know, again, people
ladies.
can't see it, but I'm just saying.
Callie, you've got a wonderful core.
Thank you.
that.
I'm doing ever so well, aren't I?
Is there anything you'd like to promote? Are you doing?
Well, yeah, I'm going to
another-
promote myself because that's the way I roll. Yes, I'm doing a show called Invisible, which is about it's a celebration of women's invisibility at a certain age, spurred on by that French guy Yann Moix, who said that a woman, when she turns 50, becomes invisible. And he also said there is nothing extrordinary about the body of a 50-year-old woman. And let me tell you,
Hasn't seen
he
yours.
hasn't
I'm
seen
looking
what
at
happens
those
when
pins.
he hasn't seen what happens when I sneeze. But anyway, so I'm doing Invisible in Edinburgh, and I'm doing it as a preview all the way up to Edinburgh. So I've got shows all over the place,
Fab.
trying to
Ooh, you'll
make
have to
it
come
up
and
to
do a
snuff
preview.
in time for Edinburgh. Yeah.
We'll come back again before Edinburgh then and promote that.
Would love to.
Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you, Buster. Thank you, Will. Controlling things. Let's end with Pretend with some Chrissy Hines.
Oh, amazing.
yeah.
Another
Yeah,
great
we all
Chrissy
agree on
Hines.
that
single
one, yeah.
mum. And Buster is losing his shit. Thanks for listening to the Funny Mummies on Soho Radio. Blah, blah, blah. See you next time. Love you lots. Bye.
Such a drag to want something sometime. One thing leads to another. I know.
You've been listening to the Funny Mummies podcast with me, Hatty Ashdown, in association with Screaming with Laughter for the Other Woman radio show on Soho Radio. Thanks to all my guests and panel today, and edited and produced by Charlotte Kingston. We'll be back every month for another dose of Mum and Tonic.